Hello, and thank you for listening to Gettin Hard in Nate's Backyard. On this episode of the podcast, I sit down with Mark Fleischhaker. I met Mark in the mid-2000s. He was playing drums in a band called Ole. He currently plays drums in a band called Norwegian Icebreaker. They're both awesome. Check them out. And he plays in another group called Clitty Litter with a previous podcast guest, Jason Clare, which is an experimental noise thing. And this type of music is new to me, so I asked him to come down here to Get Hard Studios and show me some of his stuff, some of his discography from over the decades. So that's exactly what we did, and that's what you're about to hear, us talking and then a bunch of wild noise music. Hello, and thank you for listening to the podcast. I'm here with Mark Fleischhaker.
That is correct.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Thanks, Nate.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're going to talk about some wild stuff that I don't know very much about, but you know a lot about. So I'm excited for that. This podcast is brought to you by righthookmics.com. Our guests always speak through them, and they are awesome. I'm sure he has some Black Friday sale going down, so go to righthookmics.com and check that out. Righthookmicrophones.com, maybe. Just Google it. This podcast is also brought to you by myself and Nancy, who can't be here tonight. Big Nate Productions and Calgary Metal Fest. Check out both those websites. Google us, follow us, do all that stuff. You can listen to the podcast there. Check out the podcast on iTunes. Rate, listen, subscribe. I think that makes me look good. So with that being said, I'd like to officially welcome Mark. How you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good. I can't complain, Nate. Thanks.
Good.
How about you?
I'm okay. I got a little bit of a sick kid, but hey, that happens, I guess.
Suppose it does.
Yeah. So you play in, we'll start with maybe the most relatable band to the podcast listeners, maybe, because Jason Clare was on a couple podcasts ago, and you play with him in Clitty Litter, right?
This is true.
Yeah, and you guys are like a crazy noise experimental thing, right?
Yeah, it's an improvised setting with no real agenda other than the instruments that we choose. I tend to do a lot of vocal stuff, but okay. I can do whatever. I can play guitar, drums. I'm kind of more open, but Jay usually sticks to the keyboards, the synth.
Right.
And
so you guys do like a full band setup? Like you have drums set up and stuff?
I mean, well, when we played at the Night Owl for Rock for Dollars, I mean, it's already set up that way.
Oh, right. Okay.
So there, for instance, the last time we played, I took advantage of the kit for about 5 minutes, and I went on the guitar for 5 minutes. I was kind of running around like a monkey.
Nice.
It was fun. While Jay standing there with his Cthulhu mask. It's not pronounced Cthulhu. What is it? I'm sorry. Cthulhu mask. That's it.
Yeah.
Just staring at the crowd. I mean, he's got his thing set, so he just pushes a button, holds it down, and he just doesn't have to do anything but just stand there.
Man, I hope you guys make it huge.
Well,
it'd be hilarious.
It's probably not going to happen, Nate.
Yeah,
but it should.
Imagine you get $5,000.
If we just took over the Night Owl every Wednesday, we're like the house band. That would be amazing. But I should tell you something about the last time we played. If you want to get into that right now.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, this would be like the 5th time I've played Rock for Dollars, and the guys that run it, BJ and Matt, they're sweet dudes. They're totally awesome. Mm-hmm. Every time I've gone there with a project, they've always been really supportive of it. And like I said, I think this was the 5th time I've gone there with 3 different bands. So this would have been the 2nd Clitty Litter performance.
Okay.
So this shouldn't be anything new to anybody that was there the last time.
Right.
Until apparently halfway through our set, when the bartender was noticing that people were coming into the place, listening and observing what was going on, and leaving. And this happened more than once, apparently.
Oh, no.
So, basically what happened was... Now, I'm guessing this is what happened at this point. Mm-hmm. The guy that was running... It was a new person that was running the evening, so he was a little bit nervous, I think, about how to go about the proceedings. But I'm pretty sure she told him, look, get these assholes off the stage right fucking now.
Wow.
We're losing money.
Oh, no.
Go do it, like forcing him to do it. Because now that I remember, like we're wearing masks and stuff, so I can't see. I can only just see what's in front of me. I noticed at a certain point halfway during our set, he kind of came on stage and helped himself to the mic and said, "It's Cletty Litter, everybody. Let's hear it for them."
Okay.
More or less suggesting, "Hey guys, stop playing. Your set's over."
Yeah. The hook.
But at the time, I did not see that as that at all. I just was like, why is this guy standing on the stage awkwardly while I'm trying to do shit?
Yeah.
While I'm trying to strangle these fucking strings.
Yeah.
There was one point during that set where Jay actually came over to me, and as I'm playing the guitar, he tried to pry every single string off the guitar as I played it. It literally sounded like do 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 do. It was amazing. So then they do, they have like a hockey lineup thing, like the end of a playoff game. So each band, everybody in the bar has to line up, and you go, and the band that just played, you shake hands with everybody in the bar. So what happened was, Jay at this point had taken off his mask, obviously, because he was probably sweating in it, and so he was exposed. When he got to the end of the line, the bartender saw Jay and went, "Oh, okay, this guy's, at least I know half of the fucking guys responsible for this." I still had my mask on, so she didn't know who I was yet. And then when Jay went to get his free beer, she basically told him flat out, "You cost me $200 tonight because of your behavior on stage." Like, she pinpointed it in her brain. And Jay just, she's trying to give Jay a guilt trip, and Jay's just like not having it. He's just like, "Look, we were told to come here.
Yeah.
Talk to the promoter. Don't give me this shit."
Yeah.
This is the second time we've been here too.
Yeah.
Like, take it up with BJ. Don't take it up with me. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
We were told to come. So she didn't like that.
That's funny.
And then, previous to this, she was always really, really nice to me. And now it's like she just totally ignores me and will wait until the last second to serve me. And I did nothing but just play my music. Everybody that was there watching it was enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite theatrical, too, because we had full-on costumes this time.
Clear the place out.
No.
Yeah.
So
yeah, put on a show, and that's the whole idea behind that Rockin' for Dollars thing, right? Is that it brings in it brings in a bunch of eclectic mix of different styles, different people, different.
Right, exactly. There's is open for all genres.
I mean, maybe that person that was walking in and leaving was just like a cokehead and was going back out to their car.
Very possible. That's possible. You never really know what people's agenda is.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Weird.
But yeah, so, hey, what are you going to do? It just makes me think sometimes that that people don't take the whole idea of noise music as a legitimate genre of music.
Fair enough.
Which,
I'll tell
hopefully we can sort of get to the bottom here tonight. I don't know if I can solve that puzzle for you. I can only explain my side of the situation, but, I have come across that every now and then, but,
I went to that Merzbow show, and I'd never really listened to noise ever. And I went to that Merzbow show, and I was like, holy fuck, is this ever loud? That's
exactly why I didn't go, because I'm a fan, and I have tinnitus in this ear.
All right.
And I knew it was going to be punishing. So, you know what, I'll just stay at home and listen to his records at a volume that I can control. That's the way to do it. Because, I knew it was going to be punishing.
Like, it was loud with the earplugs in. The only other time that ever happened to me was when we just played in Berkeley. And at that 924 Gilman, the way that guy was mixing, holy fuck, it was all guitars at 109 decibels.
That's crazy.
I mean, you could, when you had the earplugs in, you could hear the rest of the band, but it was still, like, mostly guitars when you have your earplugs in. It's like rough. Right?
And those noise guys, I'm one of them. We deal with high-end frequencies. Like, I try to avoid those personally just because they really irritate me.
Right.
Although I do like the idea of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So are you a Merzbow fan then? You must.
Yeah, I knew of him through another guy named Mike Patton, who I'm a huge fan of. They put out a record called She.
Oh, wild.
They called the band Maldoror, I believe, and it's just Mike Patton and Merzbow.
Wow.
And they made the CD really seductive looking too. They made it all pink with a woman's vagina, and then you open it up and there's this woman riding a giant snail cock. And then you fold it open, and there's still more exotic, sexual, pornographic pictures. They look like they're right from like the 1950s or something. They said that Patton basically flat out said that he made it look that way intentionally to contrast how ugly some of the stuff is that they recorded, just to suck people in and say, hey, I wonder what this is. This looks like it could be good. Put it in.
Yeah.
I'm taking this back.
So, maybe real quick before we delve into that stuff, we know each other from, I used to work at the Slaughterhouse for a long time, and did you jam there with any other bands but Olay?
I was there with a band I'm in called Coverage.
Oh, yeah, right, Coverage. Yeah,
we're a
right.
Descendants all tribute band.
Yeah, do you guys still jam there?
Yeah, we're back at it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, cool. As a matter of fact, that's the show I have to plug.
Oh, cool.
We're playing at the Ship and Anchor on January 27th.
Nice.
We are opening for Ghost Factory. It's their album release.
Right.
And we're on second.
No,
I like
awesome.
the second slot because out of 3, it kind of feels like it's your show, even though it's not.
Yeah, totally.
In a way.
Well, it's like the best part of the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Before everybody's
This should be
like,
good because
Uber losing ways.
Darren Ollinger was telling me that Ghost Factory, they're big Descendants fans, and when they heard we were playing with them, they were pretty stoked. So
Awesome. Yeah. How long have you been doing that
Coverage?
Yeah.
Since 2009.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, it's my brother on drums, and then another group of brothers, Eric and Chris, who we're all from Regina, and we all went to high school in the late 80s and all grew up on the same stuff, and so
Cool.
we all had a kinship with a lot of the bands that were on this label called Cruise Records, like a band called All, Descendants, and Big Drill Car, Chemical People, Dag Nasty, this kind of new type of pop punk that wasn't so, I don't know. It's just it's a real, because it's derivative of so many other weird genres of music.
Right.
But I mean, there's some hair metal in there, I think. But there's punk in there.
Yeah.
There's some, I don't know. It's just it's like catchy melody. It's like the fucking Beatles on like 78, basically.
Yeah. Right.
It's like pumped up pop music. It's almost like they write the catchiest shit ever, and then they just can't wait to play it as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Every song is like that. Yeah. So it's like punk rock Beatles. It's irresistible. I mean, why would you not want to sing that stuff? Why would you not want to play that stuff? It's amazing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you guys being real tight.
And Jason Clare's in the band right now at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's playing bass because Chris lives in Regina.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for Jay, we probably wouldn't be doing this right now.
Oh,
Because
nice.
Jay is also a dedicated Descendants all fan and knows a lot of that music
Cool.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's the great stuff about stuff like that. You could learn it pretty quick too, I imagine, right? Like,
Yeah, Jay's a little bit of a wizard at
Yeah,
jam.
sure.
He picks stuff up almost instantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because we constantly toss songs in and out of our set.
Yeah.
We'll jam the song for a while and we'll go, we're not feeling it, and just toss it out and
Yeah.
put something else in. So
Cool.
Yeah.
And then when did Olay start? That was you and Bo and
originally,
Kieran?
yeah, it was originally me and Kieran. That would have been 2003
oh, okay.
or maybe late 2002. Yeah, I
Wow, that
moved
far back.
I moved from Regina, Saskatchewan, which I spent my whole life there until 2002,
Oh, okay.
and then I hooked up with a couple musicians before Kieran. One, her name was Tammy Raybold. I literally answered an ad in a music store. Was going to start drumming in her band. Then I met, my brother hooked me up with Paul Coots, who's a local musician dating way back, and we formed a band called XL Birdsuit with Chris Vale. And I was in that band for about a year, and then my brother hooked me up. He hooked me up with Paul, and he hooked me up with Kieran. And so Kieran and I started jamming at Sloth Records when he was still working there, when it was on 4th, jammed in the basement.
Right.
And yeah, so that band was active. Ian Baker was the original, was one of the first bass players, and Trez on vocals.
Oh, okay.
And then Ian left the band, I think, in 2006. And then we found Bo Barker, but not after a painstaking search for a bass player, and so looking for bass players and ads, and some of the people we got were just...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fast forward ads, they were...
Yeah.
That's how I met basically everybody I know, but still.
Yeah, well, like we went
to get through
through a dozen of them at least.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
Bo came in with a case of beer and a bass that was too small, and was just like, "Here, man, just what's going on? What do you want me to?" He was like open palette, where everybody else kind of came in with their own personal agenda of how they thought we should sound already before even hearing us.
Right.
Bo was, the opposite, and so by the end of that, we kind of knew that he was the guy.
Cool.
But then, I had to put the band on hold in late 2008 for about 4 years because there was just some fucked up shit happening to my body, and I still didn't. From about 2004 to 2008 were not very good years for me mentally, just because there was some bizarre shit happening to my body, and I went to doctor and had tests, every sort of this and that, and nobody could completely definitively say this is what's wrong with you.
Right.
It's almost like, I got accused of, having mental. Some doctor was like, "Oh, you got nothing better to do than come see me," and blah blah blah. Like it got to that. It got that bad. Yeah, it was bad. So it was affecting
in hospitals for hours at a time.
Yeah, and it was affecting me playing in a band. It wasn't necessarily affecting the drumming per se, but it was affecting lugging gear around.
Yeah.
And setting and tearing down my drums.
Yeah.
And dealing with getting in and out of places like doors became there's still a bit of an issue for me, but not nearly as I'm a lot better now. Let me just get ahead of myself and say I'm quite a bit better.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%, but I'm a lot fucking better than I used to be.
Yeah.
There was a moment there where I just almost felt kind of like immobilized, like I didn't want to leave my apartment. It was pretty depressing.
So, do you mind telling everybody what it was?
Oh, yeah.
I
guess I haven't told you.
It out, right?
It turns out I had mercury poisoning from my silver amalgam dental fillings. I had about 6 of them or so.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, that's it. You just don't walk into a doctor's office and say, "Hey, this is hurting." Oh, okay, you've got mercury poisoning. First of all, doctors, most of them, if not all of them, don't believe that that's even a thing.
Right.
So you've got that wall. To make a long story short, my dad, he was working at Costco at the time, and he was retired, and he was just working there, checking receipts and stuff. He's a people person. He likes people and stuff. So he was talking to a coworker, or a coworker was talking to him, just off candidly about his son and some of the symptoms that his son was going through. Mm-hmm. And my dad's like, "This is crazy. It sounds like your son sounds exactly like mine." Mm-hmm. And he found out that he had mercury poisoning. And so my dad came to me one day and said, "Hey, we should look at this angle, because this might be it. I mean, we've looked at so many other things, and you have the silver amalgam fillings." I found out that this was indeed the problem. I was chock full of that fucking shit.
So how did they get rid of it?
It's a process called chelation therapy.
Oh.
Yeah, I found a doctor who is a naturopath and a medical.
Okay. Yeah.
So those are very rare. So he kind of has understanding in every little aspect of it, right? So he's all encompassing, which is good. And it's called it's in the Market Mall. I had to go to the Evans Dental Center, which is in the Market Mall, to get my fillings removed safely. As a matter of fact, that's they specialize in that. That's all they do.
Wow.
Is remove the silver fillings, clean your mouth out properly, and then replace them with the cement ones, the white cement ones.
Right.
It's fucking expensive as hell, but they're notoriously known for that.
Right.
Yeah, everybody that works out of that building, the Market Mall, what's the name of the professional building? The Market Mall Professional, that's it.
Yeah.
Everybody that works in there, as far as I know or have gathered, are like the black sheeps of their community.
Right.
So the Evans Dental Center does not work for the Dental Association, as far as I know.
Right.
Because he's doing the good work.
Yeah.
He's doing shit that the other dentists don't even believe is true, right? Same with Dr. Richard Johnson, who's the naturopath medical guy that he works out of the same building.
Right. Yeah.
So he tested me.
Actually getting stuff done.
Yeah. And so
good for people.
I can't even really pinpoint where I just kind of woke up and went, "Okay, I feel 100%." It really hasn't even happened yet, Nate, to be honest.
Right.
But I've noticed since getting the chelation in, and it's vast improvement.
So explain that process to me. What happened? Unless it's really graphic or something.
No. They just hook you up to like an intravenous.
Oh, okay.
And you just watch this bag of fluid slowly drip into your bloodstream.
Okay.
And what it does is it collects all the metals and foreign things that are not supposed to be in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just go, when you go to the bathroom, you just exit all that stuff out.
Wow.
But it'll also remove some nutrients that you need as well, so you have to take some supplements.
Right, it's like probably like iron and shit.
Yeah.
A little bit
Yeah.
or whatever. Some of those weird metals that we have to have, like
Right.
magnesium and all this weird stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that is all taken care of. I'm glad, I'm still not worrying about, hey, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
you know. Now, once that was kind of settled, and I know I'm not totally fucking going crazy, like this isn't all in vain. There actually is a fucking reason for why this is happening.
Yeah, totally.
I was able to calm down and relax a little bit and go, okay, well, if this is how I got to operate now, if this is my life, then I will figure out a way to do it.
Yeah,
You know, like it hasn't really. Like, I got back into drumming. Like, Lord Something was a project that I started with Chris Dadge and Monty Monroe just for shits and giggles because I wasn't playing drums in a band at the time. I just was sick of staring at my drum set underneath my kitchen table.
Right.
I mean, you can only do that for so long. You can only feel sorry for yourself for so long, even with my situation where you're like, let's just make a recording. Let's just jam. Like, I don't even give a fuck about anything else. I just want to play. So we made a recording, and it was amazing. And I was like, okay, so this is a band I'm in now. Temporarily. And then I just started to get another band going, and Kieran and Bo at the time, they had a band called Norwegian Icebreaker, and they were looking for a drummer right around the same time that I wanted to get back into it. So it's just like folding into
Norwegian
familiar place.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you brought a CD here of this is stuff you've all done.
It's
right?
basically a greatest hits CD of spanning my entire musical career.
Cool.
It's not everything, but it's my
like
favorites,
pieces.
little chunks.
Yeah.
It's really hard to choose a lot of that shit too.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So
should we listen to one real quick here?
Sure.
So this will give the listeners an idea of. I imagine we'll start back in the 80s here.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that first track, Bloody Slaughterhouse, it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, the song is called Vandalism, and basically what's going on here is, when me and my friends got into high school, 86, 87, for the first time, and we discovered punk rock and thrash metal and speed metal and all of that. This was around the time that I had been playing drums already for a couple years, and I had a guitar in my basement, but no one to play it. And I would just invite my friends to come over, and I'd give one of them the guitar, and I'd play drums, and I wrote all these kind of lyrics that I thought were kind of cool. I was listening to a lot of political hardcore at the time, so I was kind of phrasing things in that sense, even though I know nothing about that shit. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And so this is basically... me and my friend Mike were waiting for Dave, who does the vocals, to come over. And I got all these lyrics ready for him. We're all ready to go. And he shows up in the basement, and he's so fucking pumped up and excited to do this track that he just... well, you'll just hear it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we go. We'll be right back.
Whoa! A sold out night here in Dallas. God almighty! Look at the ring for that church. Look at every month you have Lord. We're railing in closer. I hear the big wind getting here. Freedom blood. Die. Start for light. Second for faith of the break. Oh yeah, that was vandalism. I didn't sing the whole song.
Yo, watch the beat.
I didn't have time. Okay, anyways.
Dave was excited to be there. Totally threw away my lyrics. I worked I worked on those things.
What about the next tune here?
The Birth of Not Nice Music? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like in the 80s, I formed that band Bloody Slaughterhouse with my friends. There was another band just like it called Cruz, because Dave, his last name is Cruz. So I basically created these albums, and I would, make covers for them, and I would write, Banzai records and Metal Blade records on them to try to make them look real and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Until the 90s when we moved into my dad and I soundproofed this room in our basement. And my brother was in a band, I was in a band, revolving door around musicians down there, right? All afternoon, people coming in and out. And while band's playing, and in between, people are picking up instruments and just making a racket, right? Well, this picking up instruments in between actually became a thing, where I gathered, like, my brother, my friend Kurt, and my other friend Kurt, who happened to be there. It's like, okay, we're going to stick around afterwards, and we're just going to do 45 minutes of what we used to do, like, in between songs, but let's just milk it for as long as it's worth. Make this chaotic fucking piece, and everybody was game for it. And this is the beginning of that. This is the first recording that we did with that. And then when it was done, we're all listening to it, and as we're listening to it, we're fucking howling. And I'm thinking, this is not nice. This isn't nice music. This is not nice music. So then I started writing not nice music on every cassette of noise that I would do. It didn't matter what project it was. It was like a not nice music production.
Nice.
So that's kind of how it started. Yeah.
Sweet.
And this piece too is something that I've always wanted to put on YouTube, but I can't because it features some music from the 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I know that Kubrick's composers sometimes scout the internet for copyright infringement.
Nice.
So this is a what's the word I'm looking for? This is a special treat for you guys.
Dangerous.
You won't hear this anywhere else.
We're living on the edge here. So this is the birth of not nice music.
It is. It goes on for 42 minutes, but I only brought the first 3.
All right, here we go.
It's really all you need. I know, right?
Wow.
Now, why is that not on? I was going to say, why is that not on the radio? But it's on the podcast instead.
Internet. We've interneted it.
So yeah, there was like a set of world music that was playing right next to the recorder that was recording us, and had some ragtime stuff in it, and had a theme from 2001, and it just keeps going on and on and on.
I can see why Kubrick's guys could get mad at
you know what it was? It was Wendy Carlos, the composer that composed Rocky Mountains, which is the lead song you hear at the beginning of The Shining, when they're that camera just kind of, you see the Torrances coming up the hill. I had done karaoke to that song. I had a mini chaos pad on stage, and I was adding weird effects to it and adding like weird howling sounds to it with my delay pedal and stuff. And I posted it on my YouTube channel, and I got strike one on my YouTube account because Wendy Carlos has people scouting the net for copyright. And I was like, okay, well, that's a lesson learned.
Man, that's pretty intense if they can
pretty random, too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whatever.
These people are on it.
Yeah.
Cool. So, next is Mrs. Svensson.
Yeah, Mrs. Svensson was the band I was in from 1988 until 2000.
Oh, cool.
2001. Yeah, started it in high school with my friends, and the only two consistent things about that time is that the name of the band and the fact that I was the drummer. Everything else changed. Songwriters, music, style.
Wild.
We kind of, we were young kids, so we kind of tend to morph into whatever we were into that year, and that would just be a part of the collective sound. But I think that's a pretty universal thing, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
if you get four guys in a room, you're going to get a little bit of their influences put in a pot, and then you sound like you sound, right?
And this is Mark 95, so that's
it was
beginning.
There's so many different phases of Mrs. Svensson. It started in '88 when we were just a punk rock band, and then turned into more of a pop punk band.
Okay.
And then when the Seattle scene broke, we sort of slowly started blending in the grunge element. And then around that time, 95, 96, our songwriter started to slowly strip our sound and make it a little bit more friendlier, less electric guitar, more acoustic guitar. He's having ideas in his head about strings, and he's basically really composing now in his head. And that's basically what he's doing now. I mean, I quit the band in 2001, and shortly after I moved here, because I kind of had my way with that band for over 10 years. It's like a long relationship.
Right.
And musically, I think we were good enough where we could have taken it to the next level, but talent does not always apply
in business.
Yeah, exactly. It's a business.
For sure.
But I chose that song in particular because we made a video for that song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And that song's called Home.
It is.
One sec.
Sky's gray, mid-Saturday, trying to find a way to carry the ones and thoughts and chords spilling out of me into the streets. What can love be like a movie? Must have been, must begin again, must have been another time and place or day. No time in the driver's seat. A happy still, a friend I have to meet. Try to run from here, tried to flee, but I could never leave.
That was a dynamic shift from the last one.
He is pumped up new and improved Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's 20 years. That track is 20 years old. It's hard to believe. But
sounds really good. Good production.
yeah, thanks. I was mentioning to you about the Pro Tools thing. Our engineer had this new trick, and he copy and pasted the same chorus in that song, the same version 3 times.
Yeah.
And then was like, "What do you think?" And you're like, "Yeah, okay. Some of my drum fills aren't there, but whatever. That's fine." There was another song I wanted to pick, but I figured one of these was good enough. It's a song called "The Sleep," which we had featured in an ABC Movie of the Week called "Unwed Father," starring Brian Austin Green.
That's
1997.
90210, right?
Yeah. And the only reason that happened is because Jared's brother, he wasn't in the band yet, but he was about to be, had connections in Los Angeles in the film industry, and he knew of a guy that was looking for a rock band to be in this opening club scene, and I guess was struggling to find the right sound. And Jason mailed him a tape, and they went, "This is perfect."
Cool.
And then they were originally going to actually fly us down there to be in the movie, but then they realized it would be just way cheaper if they just got the actors to do karaoke to it.
Yeah, right.
Which is what happened.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's just kind of trippy that, you would think that somewhere in a movie set, Brian Austin Green is listening to our album on a Walkman.
And then what did he do that night? That's what I want to know. Then he wrapped his Ferrari around a pole that night. Okay, so next, Essential?
Yeah, Essential is one of my favorite noise bands. Essential is a band that basically happened because my friend Kent McClintock, around 93, 94, used to always come to Mrs. Svensson jams and hang out and watch us. And everybody would leave but me, and he'd stay. And he'd pick up a guitar and a cigarette lighter and just start grinding the lighter into the strings, and I'd just start playing blast beats and screaming like Deicide and shit. And that was it. That's a fucking band. We're called, I was like, what do you want to call us? Essential, because it's essential noise. We have to do this.
Cool.
So yeah, that started in 94, ended in 2001, and we made 145 albums. Never leaving the garage. No.
Yeah, no. They're still there.
And this one is one of my favorite ones. It's a perfect example of the odd time that the improvisation, because this is all improvised, right?
Yeah.
Every now and then something will happen to the music and it will fall in line. It'll actually become musical by accident.
Yeah.
This is the perfect example of that. This kind of almost sounds like we rehearsed this, but in no way, shape, or form did we. This just happened this way.
Cool. And this song is called "I've Reached Down, There's Something There."
Correct.
Be right back.
I've reached down. I've reached deep down, and there's something there.
That's fucked.
Best song ever. Right? Yeah, that was me channeling Lee Ronaldo and Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth with my guitar chops.
Fuck yeah. Very eclectic. Where you go all over the place. It's
Yeah,
wild.
there really isn't no accounting for
It's good.
the...
See why you didn't throw an old A song in here so that
Yeah,
you could hear
well, I
the
got some
heavy-
Norwegian Icebreaker.
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah.
The problem is that I have so many things on there. It's hard to choose.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to play an LA song, you definitely can. You can.
Yeah, cool.
All that stuff's on my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely put links, but on to Nature's Secret Weapon, 1996.
This is a recording that I made with a good friend of mine, Leon. Leon was an interesting guy because we were both in different bands in the local Regina music scene. And it's almost like we were born to be in the same band, but we never were. We just were in different circles. Like my brother was the drummer of one of his bands. But in between, we used to hang out at the rehearsal space and just fucking make noise, improvise. A lot of it would be musical, a lot of it wouldn't be, just depending on what we wanted to do. And it would take many forms. Like sometimes I would play guitar and he would play guitar, or I'd play drums and he would play guitar and we'd improvise, or the other way around, or sometimes, this case, he would be on keyboards and I would do vocals. And this piece here is one of my all-time favorite recordings that I've ever been a part of, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's called Shift in the Wind's Direction.
It sure is.
Here it goes. that was weird. What were you doing on there?
Another classic. I was used to at Value Village. Used to get these really piece of shit microphones for $5 that you could literally put in your mouth. I would plug them into distortion pedals and delay pedals and a phase shifter I think I had, and then just laying on the floor with all this stuff, and my friend Leon's in the corner with the keyboard on the floor, and we're just improvising.
Wow.
That happened, that piece of music happened I took about 20 or 25 minutes of, pure improvising before we got to that place where that moment happened.
Yeah,
it didn't just happen.
Yeah.
A lot of other things had to happen before that were quite not, maybe listenable, but not as listenable as that. That almost sounded like a song, like a little song.
Right. Yeah.
Even though we were just feeding off each other the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You strike me as a Zappa type character, where like you make all this wacky shit, but you probably never do drugs.
Well, I've done drugs. And
were you fucked up on acid when you made that?
No.
Like
The
that?
acid is just, the drugs were never the reason for doing these things.
Right.
They only were just something to amplify what was already going on.
Yeah, totally.
Really.
Totally.
Yeah. And as far as the Zappa question, I get the comparison, definitely, but it's weird because I'm not a Zappa guy.
Right, yeah.
I've had people lend me Zappa records, and I've listened to them, and I appreciate them.
Yeah.
For some reason, though, they just don't click with me like they do with a lot of other people. I can't explain it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm more of a John Zorin guy. He's really the composer that I'm getting a lot of this from, I would say. And my friend Leon, who you just heard on keyboards there, he's the one that introduced me to the world of John Zorin.
Oh, okay.
And he's he's like a chameleon too. He just doesn't stick to one thing. He does everything.
Yeah. Cool.
Got into like Naked City and bands like that. And super highly influential. Yeah.
Cool. So now we're going to listen to, you said 7, right? So
I think
that your stuff?
I think we're going to listen to a track called Playing With Myself.
By Mark Fleischhaker.
And this is a long track, but I slimmed it down for the purpose of this podcast. I kind of put together, it's a piece that I made that's made up of little tiny chopped up pieces.
Yeah.
That, because of the very nature of it, I was able to kind of edit it pretty easily and still have it sound like I meant it to be that way.
And this has 96 on it as well.
This was done on September 6th of 1996. And I think I sort of have to backtrack a little bit as to how this happened, going back to like when I was a really small kid. Because one of the best things my mom ever did for me was buy me a little tiny tape recorder.
Oh, I think this is what I heard on the internet.
I was like 6 or 7. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, this is the piece.
This is that tune.
Yeah.
This is why you're on the podcast. I heard this and I was like, what's wrong with you?
But the best part about the tape recorder was the pause button.
Right, yeah.
And so I used to record the radio, like record my favorite songs, and then I would record the commercials and the DJs in between, and I would chop up their voices with the pause button. I would get half sentences and play it back, and I thought it was great. Not totally innocently, right? Like not thinking, oh, this is the thing I do.
Yeah,
it's just something I did innocently, right? So, when I used to take the recorder and I would leave it at the top of the stairs on record while my mom and my dad were having a half-drunken conversation with some of their friends while my mom's making dinner.
Yeah.
I left it up there. 30 minutes later, came back. Don't even really remember listening to it, but I knew I had it in case at some point in my life, and that point in my life was like 3 or 4 years ago, and I turned it into a noise piece.
Nice.
I had it like kind of weaving in and out of the background of things. So yeah, the tape recorder was a big thing. Like I would record my grandma's voice and then play it back to her, and it would freak her out.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but as I would actually be so fast with the recorder that I would also pick up her reactions to hearing her voice.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was freaking her out even more. So this recording, Playing With Myself, was done on the night where I was at the rehearsal space, really bored. All my friends were out, at the bar, trying to pick up girls, whatever. It was never my scene. I felt more comfortable just hanging out with my instruments and being creative in there. And on this one particular night, I didn't really think I was doing anything worthwhile, and I was about to go home. And the last minute, there happened to be this. To this day, I don't know who this recorder belongs to, but there was a Sony double cassette deck just laying on the floor right by my feet. I saw it had a pause button on it. I plug it in, I start fucking with the radio, chopping up stuff, and I remembered how much fun that was to do. And then I thought, well, what's stopping me from doing that to my own voice, which I'd never done. So then I did a little bit of that, played it back, and went, oh, I think I'm onto something now. I think I actually might stick around for another hour.
Cool.
And that's how this piece was created. I just plugged in distortion pedals, all my effects, and would just record, half-second bits of sound, and some longer, some really, really short, and then play it back and just see what it sounded like. And it's almost kind of like a Star Wars special effect, where it took a long time to create, say maybe 10 or 15 minutes to create something on playback that's only going to last 10 seconds.
Right, yeah.
But it was worth it. It was the end result was so worthwhile. I was so fucking happy that I filled up an entire 90-minute tape of this shit.
Wild.
And so this is a little collection of my favorite parts
Cool.
of that.
Mark Fleischhaker, Playing With Myself. Here it comes.
Sorry.
Without the aid of God, if they are to be redeemed, He will have to do it. In other words, you better tell them goodbye, because you're not going to see them anymore. Bye. The Lord is His name. My, they're singing lustily now. And they were moaning and crying out.
We just can't quite figure out what's going on, and we find ourselves in a situation and circumstances we can't change. Now let me clarify something. When I talk about walking through darkness, upon that we can build great hope. Upon that we can build great faith. But you have to have that as a foundation.
Mojo. Shut up. Take it easy. Oh, kiss. A kiss. of all and foremost above every other thing.
You may find it helpful to review this material again, or you may wish to pass these studies along to a friend.
That was fucking awesome.
Oh, thanks, Nate.
Oh, fuck, seriously, it's wild. Wild shit, man. Wild shit. You were talking about, that was... Tell me that Patton story there.
Yeah. Earlier that year, he released his second solo record called Adult Themes for Voice. And he made it on a 4-track while he was on tour with Faith No More. And each night before he went to bed, he would just record something. It was tracks of him singing into a bathroom drain, yelling and clapping in his hotel room like a maniac, which I'm sure annoying the neighbors. All sorts of crazy shit. And I figured, fuck, it was like me and my friend John heard it at the same time, and we had two polar opposite reactions to it. His was, he beat me to it. I should have been doing this.
Yeah,
He was pissed off.
Yeah.
And I was the opposite. I was inspired. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to start trying to do shit like this.
Yeah, totally.
And
holy fuck,
then
did you ever.
I did that.
Cool.
Yeah, I find that whatever I'm interested in, I tend to just dive into it 100%.
Yeah,
and I try to get to the bottom of it, even if I make myself look like a fool. The process. When it comes to music, I don't care. I just dive in head first.
I don't think you can do that with art. Yeah, you go to the LA Contemporary Art Museum and there's a plastic box. Clear plastic box, and that's art, right? So, that's cool. So now we're going to listen to some Terrible Crayon. That's you too? That's not you too.
That is my solo project. And how that came about was I was going to Regina in 2010. Reunion with a lot of my friends. We organized the band I was telling you about, Essential. We organized a Essential reunion.
Cool.
Because we hadn't played in a long time. And so we're at O'Halloran's, this bar, and we're outside drinking, and we're coming up with song titles for tomorrow night's jam. And we're coming up with just, some ridiculous shit. And I was in the process of describing to one of my friends, because I had driven by our old jam space, curious as to what it looked like now. And I was describing the front door to him. And in the sentence, I said, there's now it's all covered with strange globs of paint. And then in the middle of it, written in terrible crayon, it says, push hard. And my friend Dan heard me say terrible crayon and instantly wrote terrible crayon in this font and drew a picture of a pissed off crayon breathing fire and handed it to me before I had even finished my sentence. And I'm looking at it going, what is this that you just gave me? He's like, dude, you just said terrible crayon like 2 seconds ago. I'm like, I did? And he drew the mascot and everything. The font was perfect. The mascot was there. It was all there.
Boom.
And then I thought, okay, this is too good for... This is not a song. This is like a band, a project. I got to figure out what to do with this. So on the way home from Regina, it's a long ride, 8 hours of nothing. I was plotting what this should be, and I realized I need a solo name. Instead of just calling it Mark Fleischer, I want to call it something. And the whole terrible crayon thing just lent itself so well to this juvenile, pissed off crayon that doesn't work properly, and it sounds a lot like some of the shit I've made, and plus it gave me more ideas of how to elaborate on those sounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It was just it was absolutely perfect.
So
and I had
this is recent.
This is 2010 this started. Yeah.
Oh, but this song we're going to hear, Big Shot Shit Show.
Oh, this is a newer one. Yep.
Yeah, it says 07-15-15. Cool. Here it comes.
Let the Big Shot Shit Show begin.
Spooky.
Yeah. Terrible.
How did you make a soundtrack to my dream every night that I have?
I got things in my arsenal, Nate.
Yeah.
All occasions.
You're inspiring me to make a horror film. Have you score it?
a lot of my stuff could be used as a soundtrack for something like that. Haunted House, some of the Clitty Litter stuff in particular, and the Terrible Crayon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I invite anybody out there to go crazy with animation and just animate some of my shit.
Yeah, that'd be fucking.
Because I think a lot of the stuff is visual too.
So is that what the Terrible Crayon stuff is kind of all about? Like it's all this just wild vocal effects with.
Really, I guess it can be about anything.
But there's no like
the
formal
vocal
drums in it or anything.
There could be. My noise instrument of choice tends to be the microphone plugged into a whole effect racked as if you were plugging a guitar into it.
Right.
Just plug a mic into it instead and see what happens.
Yeah, totally.
Like most of my pedals are guitar pedals.
Right.
And now I have a Chaos pad, which I use, which works through my microphone now too.
Cool.
So I guess when you're using those tools in that fashion, you're going to create some different sounds.
Okay.
Naturally. Yeah,
it's wild.
And I like mixing it with like old samples coming from cassette recorders, and so I think I've got my own brand of experimental sound, I guess, going. Yeah,
cool. So, what's a Faster Disco all about?
Faster Disco. Excuse me, I'm putting something out of my mouth. Probably hear me sucking on a hose the whole time. sorry about that.
Yeah, surprise.
Faster Disco is a band that I started in Regina in 2001 with a local musician named Trevor Seegers. And again, it was one of those situations where we both played in different bands in the city, but we're not in the same band, and Trevor had always wanted to be in a band with me, so he phoned me one day and literally said over the phone, we're starting a band, a duo, I don't care what it is, but it should probably just sound like that's what he did over the phone. And then a light bulb went off in my head and I went, yes, but you are the drummer and I'm the vocalist, and we'll do as many short bursts of sound as we can within a set time frame. Let's get to work.
Cool.
So then I came up with the idea of making as many song titles as you can as part of the set. So coming up with, say, 94 song titles. Reading the song titles is part of the show.
Right.
So I'll say this song is called this, and then we do it, and we just keep doing that as fast as humanly possible until it's all over.
Wild.
Yeah, we've played. I'm playing with a different drummer now, Joe. The piece that I have on there. Because Trevor lives in Regina, I moved here, and this project had kind of been on a shelf for a while, and then I knew Joe, I knew he was a drummer, and I literally just told him one day at Broken City Karaoke, I told him, you're in this band. Like, just like that. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, no, you're in this band. We'll get together and I'll set it up for you. It'll all be good. It'll all make sense. And he fucking totally knocked it out of the park. And I didn't know this, but at the time, he thought that he was still auditioning for me. But I just knew it was going to work out flawlessly, and it was.
Cool.
Dare I say, I like his style a little bit better than the original guy. No offense, Trevor.
Oh,
Trevor's more like fucking blast beats, really like Napalm Death, very, very skilled hands.
Right.
Joe's more kind of open palette, a lot of cymbal work and stuff like. It's different. Yeah.
Interesting. This tune is called, Excerpt. This is just a piece.
Yeah,
of
you
the
know
song?
what? Before we play that, I have two Faster Disco stories that I want to tell.
Oh,
These are
yeah.
probably
Fuck yeah.
two of the. I'll tell one of them. We'll play the track, and then I'll tell you the other one. And both of them involve open jams. So I basically described the premise of the band, right? Where just drums, just vocals, nothing else interfering, playing as viciously quick as we possibly can, nonsensically, giving the illusion sometimes that we're tight because there's nothing else there to say otherwise, right? It's pretty bare bones.
Yeah.
So our first show that we played in Regina went really, really well. We opened up for a bunch of local bands, and then we were kind of high on that show. We were like, how do we keep this going? Where can we take this? Then it occurred to me, the Plains Hotel on Wednesdays, they do open jams. Let's go there. Like, okay. But we're going to cut the set in half. We're going to do like maybe 43 songs in 10 minutes. That was kind of the goal. And maybe we won't bring our costumes either, because he would wear a mask and I would wear a black nylon over my head, and we kind of looked unsettling. I looked very comfortable on stage. I had like long underwear on, fucking slippers, a black nylon on my head, comfy t-shirt. Yeah, all I was missing was the fucking cappuccino and the blanket, honestly. But anyway, yeah, so we get to this place, and there's a biker convention going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor, my drummer, who's half the size of me, is getting a bad feeling. He thinks that if we play here, it's not going to go good. That they're not going to get it. It's going to provoke, blah, blah, blah. Wrong impression. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I think what we need to do is we just won't put the costumes on. He's like, oh, no. He's going to tell me we're going to do the show. We won't do the costumes. But we'll do the set. It's quick, super fast. It's only 10 minutes. We'll just see. And then we checked with the sound guy. We told the sound guy what we were doing, and he thought it was hilarious. He couldn't wait to see it. So we're like, okay. But the problem with the way Faster Disco sets up is we tend to jam side by side.
Right.
Phantoma's the band. They do that too.
Yeah.
They're looking for cues. That's the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of a band like that is because in order for Faster Disco to really work, we have to start and stop at the same time. So as long as we're looking at each other, we can pull it off.
Yeah.
But, you know, at open jams, you've got the kit right where it's supposed to be at the very back, which means I have to turn my back to the entire audience to play the show, which is not the best signal to give
bikers.
To bikers playing the thing that we're about to play.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of oh no going on. Didn't occur to me to maybe move over to the left or the right just a tad, but no, I was like they could just see my back. And we're playing, you know, and we're doing it. And as we play, everything just screeched to a halt. People stopped ordering drinks. People at the back playing the slots, they stopped moving their hands, and they were turning
the
and
record
looking
scratches.
Yeah. Everybody at the bar turned and looked. All you could hear was us, and we were, you know, very sharp in our sound, right? So it's like, so you can hear in between the fucking crickets. You can still hear them. There was one table to the left of younger biker people, I want to say maybe in their 20s, that were giggling and liking it. Like they were enjoying it. And I was like, oh, wow, it's amazing. And then as I noticed that, I noticed also that at some point there was an older woman from the very, very back who was playing slots came up to the front, standing right next to me. And now my back is to her, but I can tell she's there. And she's saying basically, you're annoying me and all my friends to the point where I didn't want to tell you. You need to stop doing what you're doing right now, immediately. Please stop. You need to stop it. Like she kept going on and on and on. I didn't acknowledge. I could tell that this is the vibe I was getting.
Yeah.
But I didn't acknowledge her at all. I just plowed through the set. I said, we got 3 fucking minutes left. Let's just keep going. It'll be over in 3 minutes. It'll be over in 2 minutes and 54 seconds. It'll be over. And
stop delaying it.
We got through it, and the sound man thought it was awesome, and he gave us some free drinks. And the table to the left that enjoyed it, they wanted to take the set list home, and they said they wanted to put it up on their wall as a poster. So that was pretty cool. A little intimidating, but I think we got through it. Nice. The only thing that sucks is that was back when I used to record shows with my Walkman, and I had it all ready to go. And just before we got on the stage, I just failed to put it on the table. Or you know what? I think I put it on the table and didn't hit record or something. And it really bothers me because that old lady coming and giving me shit was in perfect range of that microphone.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been the perfect heckle caught on tape.
Stop. You need to stop it. Stop.
Yeah. So now, without further ado, we'll play you Faster Disco, and you can judge for yourself if you were in that room with a bunch of bikers. How would you react?
This first song is called Lick Everyone in the Fireplace.
Same one?
Yeah, let's do the whole thing. This next song is called Averaging Shots All Over My Face. This one's called Tell Your Lawyer About Ted Bundy Under the Moonlight. This one's called Stage an Intervention for an Ex-Friend as slowly as you can. I'm dreaming of a white. This next song is called Tantalizing Everything Under Heavy Sedation. This one's called High on Blue Tomorrows. This one's called Nobody Ever Offers to Go Shopping with a Husky Boy. This one's called Saving the Day in Foreign Tongues While Getting Over Yourself. This one's called Put Up With a Lot of Crap from a Thing You Found Under Your Bed Over the Phone. This next song is called It's Still There. 9 out of 10 cannibals agree fat girl thighs are the most well-marbled meat. Sally reveals way too much about artifacts in the form of a note found on your windshield. My mom bought me a girl. Let's see if I know what to do. Ow! Ow! Quit it! Ow! That was kind of. I think we just creeped ourselves out on that one.
Whoa! Holy shit! Those bikers didn't know what they had coming, eh?
Coming to a comedy store near you. Oh, right, the bikers. Yeah, poor bikers. Yeah. So that was Joe's basically my first time jamming with him. As you can tell, I knew it was going to work. I mean, it works like a charm.
Yeah.
Exactly what to do.
Okay.
It's almost like in this band, it's more important that you know the rules, the setup of how you do it, and what you're actually playing in between those rules is the least of the worries.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got to nail the beginning and the end.
Yeah, as long as it's every song is executed the way it should be, then it's gonna. Who cares what you do in between?
Yeah.
Don't do anything.
Well, I like how he was like counting like melodies.
Yeah, I told him he could count in. Well, originally it was always count in 4,
right?
But then that slowly became No, just I'll let you get creative as to how you want to count in the songs.
Yeah,
I'll just pay more attention to you as to when you actually start playing.
Right, yeah.
And I've noticed over time our pieces have gotten longer, too.
Huh.
I think the next show we play, we're going to try and do it the way we used to do it, where it's super short and fast the whole time.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so we played another open jam just after. Yeah, so this jam with Joe went well, and so we were looking for another place to play. And the Blind Beggar on McLeod Trail, we found out about them, and I got in contact with their website, and they said they needed an MP3 submission for approval for their open jam night. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll put together a 2-minute, 1-minute thing, send it to him, thinking there's no fucking way I'm going to hear back at all. He got back to me the next day, and he said, yeah, it sounds great. You're in. I'm like, really? Wow, cool. Well, these guys are pretty open-minded. So the following day, I get another email from him. By the way, I don't even remember his name, so we'll just... It's not important. The third email from him said, as a matter of fact, I've been talking it over with some coworkers, and we're thinking that you guys are good enough that you should be playing an actual gig here, and we'll pay you. Now, what does that sound like to you? I know what it should have sounded like to me at the time, but for some reason, it just sounded to me like, these guys are really cool. They're really open-minded at that bar. I had no idea they were that chill about music. Okay, so I'm super stoked. I told Joe about it, and we're ready to go. So we get there, we're on like 7th or whatever, and we're sitting there waiting, and then I see the guy that I talked to over the phone and sent the emails to. He came over and he said hi to us, and I could tell that he was sort of struggling to remember who we were exactly. At least that's the impression I got. And then I thought, okay, that's interesting. Joe and I were like, okay, that was weird. And so then it became time for us to play. And we get up there, and, let's just say they were not expecting what they got.
So they didn't listen to the MP3s?
That's exactly it. No, he didn't bother listening to it. He just assumed that we sounded like every other band that walks in and out of those doors.
It's faster disco, man. It's faster disco.
It's a regular... it's a regular's routine they got going there. Kind of like the Ship and Anchor on Saturdays. I went there and sang some songs. I sang some Crowded House songs there. Just taught myself how to play acoustic guitar, and I got the same reaction. It was just like no one knew what to do or to say because I interrupted Regular's Day.
Right.
That's just the way it was. I could have literally got up there with my toy megaphone and screamed and pretty much got the same reaction. So...
Wow.
But he was very shocked when we started playing. He was we lasted, our set was 10 minutes. About 9.5 minutes in is when the crowd started to get a little upset, and I had a few things thrown in my direction.
Really?
Yeah, the lemon from a Corona.
Oh, no.
Lemon started coming at me.
Oh, no.
But I took it in stride. Whatever.
Talk to the promoter, man.
Exactly. And the promoter, he got back to me the next day, the following day after the show. And he said, Mark, that was a very interesting, quote-unquote, set you played. Unfortunately, clientele, everybody in the bar were not impressed. Maybe he didn't put it that right. And he said, unfortunately, nobody there really... understood what you were doing. I think maybe he phrased it that way. But he followed that up with but if you ever get your act together, maybe one day you can become Blind Beggar material.
Well, there you go.
So I was learning experience from that guy. A lot to learn from him. But whatever, you know what? I got an awesome recording from that. I got the recording I wanted. Got a pristine recording. It sounds amazing. That stage was cool too because the drums are in the corner.
Yeah, right.
So it was a little different.
Yeah.
So
and not a huge stage.
Yeah, it's a weird looking stage, but it felt good.
Moved.
The performance felt really, really good.
Yeah, cool.
And there was two guys, one to the left and one to the right to me, who after every song you can hear this on the recording, you can hear, wow. Wow. So at least a couple people were impressed. So yeah, I mean, I got a great recording and I got a great story.
Yeah.
As a bonus.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no plans on ever coming back there anyway. It was just an experiment. So now the guy, it's all good. It's all good. Thanks, man. You just made my experience way better.
Awesome. So we got 2 tunes left here. Nipple Puppet.
Oh, Nipple Puppet. Yes,
the bra vibrator.
This is a fun band. The origins of this go back to my weekly Broken City karaoke adventures.
Okay.
Which has been going on since 2005 up until currently. So 10 years, I guess, now. It's a weekly ritual. Sunday night Broken City karaoke. Everybody come out. It's debaucherous. It's fun. It's amazing.
Cool.
If you're bored on a Sunday, that's where you want to go.
Is this where the toy megaphone comes out?
I use gadgets on stage.
Yeah.
I usually bring my own stuff. I've known sort of doing a lot of Mike Patton related stuff, like Faith No More, Mr. Bungle. The Mr. Bungle songs that I can do. There's a limit there. And I also sing like Counting Crows and George Michael and Toto. I'm a huge Toto fan. Toto, not Toto. Toto. Steve Lukather's the man. Okay, I'm sort of getting off topic right now. But anyway, what was I saying? Nipple Puppet, yes. Tim is the other member of this band, is a regular. And I had the idea for this band. I knew what I wanted it to sound like, and I knew, again, I didn't want to be the drummer. I wanted the drums to be shitty. I wanted somebody who didn't know how to play drums. Tim didn't know how to play drums, and he just happened to be standing in front of me at the same booth where Joe was standing in front of me when I asked him to join Faster Disco, almost in the same position. Eerie. And I looked at Tim and I said, Tim, you're going to be in this band. You're going to be my drummer, but I need an audition first. Tap on this table. And he goes like, all right, you're in. It's good. I'm arranged the date for the recording, and we made it, and this one's called the Bra Vibrator. It's Tim on drums, on vocals, and I'm doing electronic manipulations in the background.
Fucking A. Here it comes.
if I don't kill you first.
Now that was pretty normal, wasn't it?
Holy shit.
Nothing abnormal about that. Perfectly normal behavior, Nate.
Fucking A.
Keep it indoors, kids. Keep that rage indoors. That's where it should be. You got to filter that shit through sound, through instruments.
I was saying that sounds like if Primus took way too much ketamine, they were all just stuck in the K-hole at sound check.
That's a good description.
Norwegian Icebreaker. I've heard some of this. It's fucking.
Yeah, this is
an actual band. No offense. No offense,
Hey.
but like a fully instrumentalized band. Sorry. But
well, let me just see if you're right. Mrs. Fenton.
Oh yeah, okay.
Was a quote unquote real band. I would say Faster Disco is a real band.
Right? Yeah. No, for sure.
Maybe just those two. I mean, there is some other stuff I didn't mention, but yeah, a lot of this stuff never left the jam space, right?
Right, yeah.
Like Nipple Puppets never played a show. We're going to play Rock for $. Nipple Puppet.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and I was going to mention something quick about Jay's take on Clitty Litter versus my take on Clitty Litter.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Just, because I remember on the podcast he was saying that he likes the idea of disturbing people, right?
Yeah.
Like sonically disturbing people.
Yeah.
I enjoy that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the main goal for me.
Right.
The main goal for me is just to play the sloppy, disgusting sonic garbage that I like to hear.
Yeah, right. Cool.
I mean, because that's all. I mean, I'm aware that it's weird shit, and it could rub people the wrong way, and they can take many, many reactions from it. But you know what? It's not something people see or hear every day.
Right, for sure.
You know, and I think people need something just to come out of fucking left field and be, you know, dare I say, inspiring or
right,
at least questioned at some point. You know,
I agree. You can only have the pop model shoved down your throat for so many decades. So.
And just disturbing people is just a nice side effect.
Yeah, right.
Of me doing my thing. So it's always good to know.
Cool. And
Norwegian Icebreaker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I got back together with my old Olay bandmates, they were in between drummers, and it was just the perfect time to get back together with them.
Cool.
That was last year around this time.
Cool.
We started jamming and kept a bunch of tracks that they already written, and then of course with me in the band we were going to start writing new ones. And yeah, it's been great. It's nice to, you know, just slide into old relationships like that, and I don't have so much explaining to do about the way my body works and shit. I mean, they know all my weird quirks, and I know their weird quirks, and it just makes it all so much easier. And plus, I don't want to start answering ads.
Yeah, fuck.
And hopefully playing music I like. I would just rather make it myself, like I do with Terrible Crayon, like create my own soundscapes.
Yeah.
And play drums with people that I trust, I musically trust.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So this is the only band you play drums in, then? Is that
Lord Something is a band that could pop up at any moment. That's with Chris Dadge and Monty Monroe.
Oh, okay.
Chris is very busy juggling 1,000 acts, and Scott Monroe is in the Viet Cong, so he's being a rock star.
Oh yeah,
he's not being a rock star.
Yeah, right.
But apparently they're going to change their name. I don't know if they've done that yet.
Yeah, I heard people got all mad at them.
But yeah, I miss playing with Scott and Chris because that band was a lot of fun. But yeah, basically Norwegian Icebreaker is my main band as of now.
Oh, cool.
I am primarily a drummer. I mean, I teach drums.
Yeah, right. Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, you know, that's the other thing too, that when I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for work because I couldn't keep doing what I was doing with the mercury poisoning and stuff, or this is actually when I didn't even know I had that.
Yeah.
I knew I had problems, and I was struggling to find what the next move was, and it just occurred to me that I'm a drummer and I should look into the drum teaching angle, see what it's like. I mean, I knew nothing about it. My take on it was that you had to go to school for it and study forever and have a degree on your wall, just like a doctor or something. It turns out that's not the case. The case is you have you have to be knowledgeable with your instrument. You have to be somewhat of a likable person, and you. I mean, I got hired strictly on likability because Dave Temple liked me as a person. The other two people were more convinced with the more experienced resumes they had, whereas Dave hired me on my personality, and he told me that afterwards, and he said the only thing is you have to learn how to read music. And I was like, well, of course, because that's the only thing I didn't know how to do. I play by ear, right? So I knew what everything was. I just didn't know what it was called in the book. So my first week there was a quick crash course and me teaching the student, the student teaching me a little bit. But you know, they could see that I knew what I was talking about. So it's funny how one terrible disastrous thing can spawn a chain of events that lead you to find your working passion, because that's exactly what happened.
Well, that's
there's no way. If my body wouldn't have gotten really, really ill, there's no way I'd be teaching drums right now.
Right.
I would be working some warehouse job, not enjoying it very much. And I love teaching. It's what I'm friggin' born to do.
No, that's
I have
cool.
a lot of patience and a lot of students that like me, even though I'm really weird.
Yeah, right.
They see through it, and they're like, "This guy's a little odd, but he's like, I've never really met anybody like this. I think he's going to be my teacher for a while."
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'm really knowledgeable. You know, I know what I'm talking about.
So where do you teach out of?
It's Bonus Music.
Cool.
It used to be
Google
music.
it.
Yeah, we have bonusmusic.com, I believe, is the website.
Cool.
We used to be MCC. Just around the corner here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we moved to Bonus to go independent. And just try our luck there. There's a lot of residential places around there, a lot of elementary schools. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. Now, the Norwegian Icebreaker track that I brought is not a studio recording. It is a rehearsal recording of us playing an instrumental.
Oh, okay.
So Darren isn't on this one.
Oh, okay.
But we are getting the tracks that we recorded, mastered, and tweaked and finalized.
I think
soon.
when
hope.
Darren was on, he played a mix.
We're just having a little bit of issues and trying to figure out the best approach and who to go to and all this and stuff. But they've been done for a while.
Yeah.
But this is just literally a raw recording from Jam.
Cool.
Yeah. It's called Danke Bolero. You ever heard of a band called Don Caballero?
Yeah.
Their drummer, Damon Che, is one of my drumming gods, I guess you could say.
Okay.
If you ever notice in their music, sometimes they have what I call like little drum breakdowns.
Right.
Not really a drum solo, but more like a drum lead.
Okay.
While the other guys kind of like loop some shit in the background, and he's just kind of free-forming shit.
Fair enough.
I've always liked the idea of doing that in a song, but I've never done it. So I did it for this song.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here we go. Norwegian Icebreaker, Danke Bolero. Yeah, that was ripping.
Ripping and shredding.
What kind of drums do you play? You're fucking, man, I forgot how rad of a drummer you are.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. I play Pearl Export, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Yeah, I bought them a long time ago.
Oh, they're like an old model.
Yeah, except for the snare drum, I replaced the snare and I bought an E-Peck Maple Genesis.
Cool.
This guy, Eddie Peck, makes his own drums out of Saskatoon. And that snare drum, that's the snare drum on this recording.
Cool.
It sounds rad.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and I upgraded all my cymbals and, I don't know, just tuned them properly, and the kit still sounds good.
Yeah, like if you can, tuning is key, right?
Oh, another thing I did too, though, was I got a new floor tom, an 18-inch Pearl Vision floor tom. And because my old floor tom that came with it was only 14 inches, the size of the snare, so that is now my second rack tom.
Cool.
So everything kind of just went that way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Nice.
So yeah, right now Norwegian Icebreaker is in writing mode.
Cool. No shows coming up?
Not until next year.
Yeah, right.
Nothing booked right now, but
yeah.
Yeah, we just we played a lot this year. Just because we were just excited to be back and do it. But I think we're going to just come up with a whole slew of new stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
hibernate for the winter kind of thing.
Yeah, the whole purpose of the band is just to have fun. We're not really trying to go on tour or do anything like that. We're just doing it just for the music.
Yeah.
Maybe play some shows in town. Maybe go out of town and play a show here and there. But we're not like trying to make it.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I'm done trying to make it.
Yeah.
I did that with Mrs. Svensson. Like most of the 90s was plotting how to get our band to the next level.
Right.
And we did have some negotiations with Warner Canada around around 97, 98.
Wow.
Due to that Brian Austin Green movie that I was talking about.
Right.
But I mean, the contract was as thick as your microphone.
Yeah.
We had to hire a lawyer who looked through it and basically just said, no.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time. You're signing a lot away here.
Yeah.
A lot of rights. It's not worth it. The advance that they were suggesting was just enough to fly the four of us down to Los Angeles.
Whoa.
And that's it.
Whoa.
Airfare. Yeah.
And then they own the master recordings.
Yeah,
they own
and it's just, and then
all distribution rights.
Not to even mention the small print where the real important things are.
Yeah.
That you're signing away. So yeah, that was I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'd way rather be in the position I'm now teaching than being in fucking 30 Seconds to Mars or U2. I wouldn't want to be that big.
Yeah.
I used to think I wanted to in the 80s, when Motley Crue was my favorite band.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Tommy Lee so bad. But I don't know, the more you grow up and the more you mature, it's just...
Yeah.
I know what my shtick is. It's the stuff I've been playing here all night. That's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I'm really happy with. And it's funny, when my dad was alive, he was always like, he thought the whole concept of Terrible at Crayon was amazing. Thought it was funny. He would ask me every now and then, Mark, do you is there some way that you can utilize this and actually make money somehow doing this? And then my answer was always like, well, no, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't found a way yet. It's just too far out there.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes to my mind is animation. Some crazy animation stuff might work, but I know nothing about that.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of work that goes into that, it seems. Well, fucking A, that was, I want to thank you for coming on. You've really, I wanted to have you on to kind of show me about noise. And stuff, and like really give me a good introduction to it and stuff. So that's cool.
Well, did I answer any questions regarding that?
Absolutely none. No, but it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like a personal thing, right? I mean, you can tell how personal this stuff is for me. I mean, these are recordings that I've kept, and transferred to my computer, and it's some of my favorite music.
Yeah,
like never mind music by other people, but just stuff that I've done personally, like I regard all of that as the same, equivalent with the Mrs. Svensson, and the Essential song is just as important to me.
Yeah, right. No, that's very
It all
cool.
kind of falls into the same.
And over
Same
such like your whole career, it's like really neat to hear it all. Because like Norwegian Icebreaker was this year, like you were saying, right? Like,
right. Yeah. Yeah. And Norwegian Icebreaker is also a noise band. Those guys are fucking.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. yeah.
The stuff they got going on with their pedals and the volume that they play at.
Yeah.
I just can't escape being in loud, noisy bands. I'm either in a loud, noisy band or a quiet, noisy band. Because I've done entire terrible crayon recordings in my living room at low volume with a microcube amp. It can be done.
Yeah,
it can be done very easily. It doesn't.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Bo blowing up bass amps at the Slaughterhouse and stuff all the time.
Yeah,
awesome.
Those guys. And I'm the only one that wears earplugs.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit. Yes. Wow, crazy.
Yeah. But that's the thing in coverage, though. I can't wear earplugs. I just don't trust my inner self enough to. Plus, I like hearing the mains, the power out of the mains.
Yeah, for sure.
You just got to put up with the fucking volume of everybody else.
Yeah, coverage. When's that show again?
It is on January 27th.
Cool, where?
Which is a Wednesday at the Ship and Anchor.
Oh, killer, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make it out to that.
Yeah, we're learning a bunch of new songs for that.
Cool.
For that one.
Yeah, and there'll be links to all this rad music that Mark's made and to the gigs and whatnot in the description, so
feel free to roam around on my YouTube channel and just explore, man. Have a blast. I'm not one of those guys that checks how many views he has,
right,
and how many people like or dislike my videos. Like, I really don't care. Like, I know there's a place you can go to navigate into YouTube where you can actually see all that stuff.
Right.
Because my students have brought it up from time to time because they know I have a YouTube channel and some of them have their own, and they always like, how many views do you have and how many subscribers? I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah.
Cause I have literally thousands of videos. Over 1,000 videos on my channel.
Wow.
But I just like the idea that it's just floating out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't draw any extra attention to it than I need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a library of all my stuff. And then when I'm dead and gone, somebody will find it and go, holy shit, we need to animate all of this.
That would be.
And then they'll be
super
like, who did this stuff? It's Mark Fleischhaker. It's a demented genius, man. Jesus. Or something. Maybe something of that nature.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely unique. There's no way around that, for sure.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment, Nate.
Oh, please do.
Yes.
I'm just, don't take my ignorance as an insult.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
It's cool.
I guess we could end with like me, sort of what we were saying at the start of trying to define what this is. I don't know. We've gone through quite a bit of it now. Do you have an answer, or a guesstimation as to what you think?
What I think
noise music is all about?
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, it's
like, have you ever improvised before with musicians?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Not
never going off the rails.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, back in the day when there was time to jam all the time, we'd go off on crazy tangents and stuff, but not just for fun. Kind of like never anything. What to me is interesting about noise is there seems to be a total aversion to any kind of like, it's all for the random. You know what I mean? Like, it's, which I think is really,
most definitely.
I think that's the really interesting part about it. Where it's like, you don't want anybody like stomping their foot or bobbing their head or something. It's like trying to fuck with people. Like, auditorily, which is neat, I think.
Okay. Again, that is a direct result of what can happen.
Right, yeah. Or at least that's what happens.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
As for the listener.
Yeah.
But for the players, that's just a little bit of it. It's just kind of just taking this empty space and just molding it and just seeing what happens.
Right.
Because literally anything can happen at any moment.
Right.
And then a lot of times when spontaneous sounds happen, then that's where your attention is drawn, and then that blossoms into something. So you just kind of follow. It's very open-ended, and you have your choice of following all sorts of different, going in all sorts of different directions. At any
but
moment.
when you're performing, it's not the same thing every time, then? It's just based off of
variations on whatever project it is. So in other words, like Clitty Litter again, for example, I know Jay's a keyboard guy. He's going to be playing that. I'm probably going to be doing vocal stuff or guitar or whatever, and that's going to be the setup.
Right.
With Tim, I'm going to get him to play drums the whole time, and I'm going to do some chaos pad, vocal things, whatever, so I know that's sonically what we're going for. So once you have those premises set up, it's easier to sort of predict, I guess, the way things are going to go.
So in that way,
I've been in massive improv noise jams, and I've seen it happen time and time again, where you get too many people in a room, all trying to play at once,
right?
And nobody wants to fucking lean back for a moment.
Yeah.
Those noise jams usually don't turn out very good.
Right.
Yeah. You got to have it in groups, selected groups.
Yeah.
With a game plan of, you're on that instrument, you're on this, you're just banging this in the corner, go.
Well, and that's where it would seem kind of more like a band, or if you will, where it's like this guy steps forward and does his solo, quote unquote, and then steps back, and then or the whole thing slows down, or the whole thing gets quiet so something can step out.
Well, yeah, see, those moments can accidentally happen when you're improvising.
Yeah, right.
It helps that a lot of people that I was improvising with in Regina in the 90s, we did it many times, so we would get better and better and better at it, naturally. Yeah.
Cool.
Except for Kent. Kent never had a musical bone in his body. He's like, he's like, I don't even know how to compare him. But yeah, Kent was the only non-musician that was into that, doing that type of stuff. Everybody else was a player. So he had his own kind of reasons for doing it. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that gets we further dug into the noise music.
Yeah, for sure.
Puzzle.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Other than the last thing to say about it is that it's just ultimate musical freedom.
Yeah,
it's just
freeform
fun. It's just like there's no wrong.
Yeah.
There's the potential for wrong if you're playing it in a live setting, but when you're in your little rehearsal space and you're doing that shit, it's just like, it's the best.
Yeah, very cool. Painting on tape.
Yeah,
basically doing wild freeform art. Oh, that's really killer, man. Thanks a lot for being on the podcast.
My pleasure, Nate. Thanks for having me.
We should have you on again sometime, maybe, when Norwegian Icebreaker puts out something, or you put out some more stuff or something.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.